You're probably already incredibly familiar with our next speaker, who is one of the best known student leaders of our generation. Stella Keating came to national attention as the first transgender teen to testify in front of the United States Senate. She is the most visible member of the team of students that the GenderCool project calls their champions. It's a youth-led movement helping people meet transgender and non-binary youth who are thriving. For her work, Stella has been featured on NBC News, The Washington Post, The Hill, and a quickly growing list of national media outlets. She was just selected also as a GLAAD 20 under 20 honoree, and we are super excited to have her here with us today. Before we go to Stella, though, we want to show a quick video about the GenderCool project.
My name is Daniel.
My name is Stella.
My name is Kai.
My name is Bobby. My name is Nicole.
And I proudly identify as transgender.
3 years ago, I set out to find kids like me. Kids who felt loved and supported by their family and friends.
We just are so proud of everything you've done up to this point and excited for what's ahead.
I'm me because I'm surrounded by people who love and accept me.
Because I'm loved and supported by my family, friends, and community.
I am able to grow up living life to the fullest.
Yeah, Max! Woohoo! Good job!
I feel just so happy.
We're future Olympians,
CEOs, actors,
filmmakers,
and so much more.
We knew that if people could just get to know us, we could create a world where people are known for who we are, not what we are.
And guess what?
And guess what?
And guess what?
And guess what?
The most amazing thing happened.
people started to listen.
This GenderCool community is providing leadership, role models, and showing the world how to live as better people.
We are singers, photographers, athletes, politicians, musicians, and that's what makes us beautiful.
As the word spread, we got to partner with visionary companies
to help build workplaces that are transformative.
We are paving the way for the next gen workforce.
We are speaking out, singing songs,
writing books,
being regular kids.
We are GenderCool.
And we are changing the world.
That video was hype, but what's even more hype is that we get to have a chance to speak with Stella. Stella, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the 2021 Ed100 Academy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. So I'm Stella and I am a GenderCool champion, and back in March, I had the honor to be able to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee on behalf of the Equality Act. And I'm just so excited about it. And I have a little PowerPoint. I don't know if I can share that. So a little bit about the GenderCool project. The GenderCool project is a story. It started out as a storytelling campaign about telling stories of who we are as transgender people and not what we are. And from after our launching, it kind of just turned into a movement. And so now we go to corporate companies and share our stories to, because so often people will create opinions about who transgender people are without ever getting to meet a transgender person. And so what our mission is to create a positive experience, is to replace opinions with positive experiences, meeting transgender and non-binary youth who are thriving, which is so incredibly important because, we're like normal kids. I'm just like all of you. I like to just do normal things. And so there's that. And there's some of my fellow champions there. And I'm so honored that I get to be a champion with these people. Getting to share our stories is really special and important to me. And but I also want to talk a little bit about the Equality Act. And so what the Equality Act is the Equality Act provide consistent and explicit non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ people across key areas of life, including employment, housing, credit, education, public spaces and services, federally funded programs, and jury service. So the Equality Act would amend the existing civil rights law, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act, and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the Jury Selection and Services Act, and several laws regarding employment with the federal government to explicitly include sexual orientation and gender identity as protected characteristics. The legislation also amends the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to prohibit discrimination in public spaces and services and federally funded programs on the basis of sex. So how you can get involved. You just kind of have to call your senators and tell them to pass the Equality Act. And one other way that you can also get involved is you can go to freedomforallamericans.org. And when you get to the website, you just have to enter in your zip code in your email to sign up, and then you can, and it'll take you to the next page, and you'll put again in your zip code and your email and your phone number. And so you'll get a call from Freedom for All Americans. And when you get to the website, I recommend doing this on a computer. When you get to the website and after you put in your, I'm sorry, someone just did some yard work. I hope you all didn't hear that. It'll give you a little script, and so that'll call. Then Freedom for All Americans will call you, and you'll be able to be put through to your state or to your one of your senators, and you'll be able to leave a message for them. And there might also be a chance that one of the staffers could actually respond to your call, but it's pretty unlikely. So you just have to leave a voicemail and follow the script. And be sure to personalize your message. Tell your senators why the Equality Act is important to you, because your voice will make a difference. And yeah.
Awesome, Stella. Thank you so much for that presentation. It's so clear how much you really care about this and how truly passionate you are. And we have just a few questions for you. And so the very first question is, what was it like testifying in front of the United States Senate, and how did you kind of get to that opportunity?
Man, it was really wild. You know, I barely slept the night before, and I just, was just freaking out. And I logged on to the meeting, and I just felt this calm come over me. And I realized after reflecting on it afterwards that it was because I had a sense of purpose, to be able to be there and to know like why I was there, and be determined to get something done. It was really empowering for me and felt really amazing.
Awesome. Really quickly, one of our kind of humorous questions is, did you get to say hi to Bernie while you were there?
I did not. I sadly did not. But yeah, no.
No problem. Another anonymous attendee asks, how did you get your big break with GenderCool, and how would you recommend people getting involved in the initiative?
Yeah. So how I got my big break with GenderCool. I've been sharing my story since I was around 7 years old, and I have a lot of connections. Luckily, my mom loves me a lot, and so she creates these connections for me. And I got to GenderCool because I share my story, and there hasn't ever really been a break. Well, I guess there was a big break because it went viral. That was wild too. But yeah, just getting connected with GenderCool, I was able to share my story even more. And yeah, and how you can get involved is you can go to gendercool.org and you can find out more about what we do and who we are. And yeah.
Awesome. You've been meeting just a ton of people over the past couple months. What surprised you from meeting all these people, and who's someone who surprised you, and who's someone that was just like completely as we would not have expected them to be?
Well, one person who did surprise me, I got to text with Cory Booker. That was cool. Another person who surprised me was Jill Biden, excuse me. She's really cool. She's super cool, guys. And I've also gotten to meet Senator, I can see her face. Senator from Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin. I got to meet Tammy Baldwin as well. I got to have a personal meeting with her, which was amazing. And also my senator, Patty Murray as well, which was really cool. And it was really exciting to get to meet all of them because I knew that me sharing my story was working. And so, yeah.
We've heard you talk about you sharing your story with other people, but we were wondering if you'd be comfortable to share your story in front of us, or if you'd want it, because I know that there are many students who are struggling with the same exact thing on this call maybe, and seeing you speak before the United States Senate, get to text with Jill Biden and Cory Booker is really inspirational. So I'd just like to welcome that opportunity for you.
Yeah, so my story for me, I kind of knew when I was around 2 years old. I was visiting some friends and I put on one of my friends' Tinkerbell dress, and it was more of a Tinkerbell costume, but I put on this Tinkerbell dress and it kind of helped me realize of who I was. And a few years later, when I was 9 years old, I finally came out to my parents, and I was always really flamboyant when I was a kid. I always was myself, and getting to be myself and having loving parents I've been so fortunate to have loving parents because I've gotten to be myself. And yeah, that's kind of my story. I eventually came out and I got to share my story again, and sharing your story creates a lot more acceptance for people, and it creates a personal connection that's so important to have for so many.
Wholeheartedly agree. Another student asks, what has been the biggest barrier or challenge that you've faced when advocating for gender-based issues?
Biggest barrier? Oh, that's a really good question too. I think that something that's kind of a barrier for me is, that's a really good question. I don't know, honestly. On the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to always be people who won't want to hear from you. They're always going to exist. But that's why you should tell your story more. I think also, a one barrier is just finding the place to share my story. It takes a lot of time and practice to both find my story and to share it somewhere. But I've been lucky enough that I've gotten to have that place and opportunity to do that.
Awesome. A quick creative question for you. Who is someone, past or present, that you'd like to meet and why? And what would you say to them if you could say something to them?
I would love to meet Christine Georgeson.
Mm-hmm.
Jorgensen? I don't remember her last name, but she was one of the first openly transgender people to have gender affirming surgery, and she was really incredible. I highly recommend that you look her up. But I would love to meet her. And what would I say to her? Just I would get to show her, look at how far we've come. Thanks to you, I get to be myself. That's really exciting for me. And yeah, it's really exciting for me. And I'd love to meet her and just tell her that, and just tell her, you're an inspiration for me. Getting to be yourself and being out there in a time that no one really knew what that meant, that's so amazing. And so I'd love to meet her, and I'd love to say that.
We have a lot of students who are obviously allies to students who are LGBTQ+. And so one of our students is asking, how can someone who isn't transgender support someone who is?
How can someone, I think just showing love and support is really important. Be a friend, and be someone who if you have a transgender friend, that friend can be comfortable around you. I think that that's something that's really important for sure.
Definitely agree. I heard that you're a fan of Mo Willems. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why?
They were like my favorite children's books, and they still kind of are. I love Mo Willems. You know, just getting to see, I especially loved Knuffle Bunny because I saw myself a lot in Trixie, and I really connected to that character, and I loved it. It was so incredible. They were incredible books. They were incredible books for me. And my grandma, she was a librarian. She's now retired, but she and my other family members would buy me the Picky and Gerald stuffed animals, and Knuffle Bunny, the stuffed animal too. And so those are just kind of a big part of my childhood, and that's why I really, really love Mo Willems.
How have you and other GenderCool champions' lives been affected by the success and impact of GenderCool?
Yeah, I think that what's really funny is that for me, for like a long time, I didn't feel the impact as much. It was sort of that third world thing in some ways of just like, it's somewhere out there, it wasn't until my testimony that people really found out about who I was, especially my friends and locally, my friends didn't really find out about who I was. And I kind of can say the same. I can't totally say the same for my other GenderCool champions, but I definitely know I've talked with them about the same thing of just, more recently we've been able to pick up a lot more steam and have been able to really share our stories. But it's like, and especially in this time as well, being all virtual like this, you don't really get to, it's like it's in the Matrix basically. And when it's like in the Matrix, you can't really physically see it or touch it. And so, yeah, that's kind of what my experience has been like.
Awesome. Kind of bouncing off that and pivoting, Caleb asks, what have you learned about yourself throughout this whole journey?
What have I learned about myself? That I do really love sharing my story, and that I love creating more acceptance. It brings me a lot of joy, and it brings me just a lot of happiness in general. And yeah, and then I also just, I love sharing my story. It makes me really happy.
Nana asks, how did you overcome some of the challenges you faced, and kind of what qualities do you think were really important for you to become such a successful leader?
I think that the qualities for being a successful leader is being yourself. And I think that that's what's really important. And that's one of my challenges too, is finding who myself was and being able to articulate that in a real and authentic way. And I think that being a successful leader genuinely is just being openly yourself and openly and sharing your story to try and create positive change.
Definitely. One of our, oh, okay. I'm seeing another question. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel? Oh, okay. Is there a favorite Marvel
No.
movie that we should know about, or?
A favorite Marvel movie that we should know about. I love them all pretty equally. I do love Black Panther. That's a really good one. I'm also a big fan of WandaVision as well. That was super good. And I'm really loving Loki right now. I know that those aren't movies, but like,
yeah.
I love Black Panther and Captain Marvel, and then those like the TV shows as well. They're really good. I like it all.
There's some interest in the chat as to, right now you're just this really famously successful advocate, but what do you want to be as an adult? Do you have like career aspirations in like law or politics or something like that?
Yeah, I do hope to go into politics. I want to be a civil rights lawyer as well, and I want to eventually be the first transgender president of the United States.
Oh, Okay, so we have some big aspirations here, and definitely there's no doubt in I think any of our minds that you will be achieving those feats. I think we have a few more questions right here. One of them is from an anonymous attendee who asks, what would you suggest for kids struggling to come out as gender nonconforming?
This is, it's a challenging question for me because I've been fortunate enough to have parents who have been able to teach me about what these things are and have, been open with me about like, we love you for who you are. But that said, I think that you have to do it on your own terms. Don't, like, if someone else is trying to push you into it, don't let them. I think it's really something that you can only do for yourself. And it takes time and it takes a lot of courage. And that's okay. It's okay. You eventually will get to be out and open. And if that's not right now, that's okay.
Definitely. That's some really good advice. I think that, a lot of the students who are struggling with that should really kind of listen and internalize. I think we talked a little bit earlier on one of our prep calls about the GenderCool books that you guys have started. You guys recently published, and we ordered them, but unfortunately they didn't get here in time, so I don't have them physically to show anyone, unfortunately. But I don't know if you have any copies. Maybe you can show this. But
yes, I do. I have the 3, and I hear my mom running to my island to get them.
Okay, perfect.
Oh my goodness, we're so excited about these. I love them so much. I am so proud of all of my fellow friends who wrote these books. I'm so proud of these people. I'm so excited for them. These books are so incredible because they were written, they were written by all the champions. Every champion currently got to participate in writing these books. And of course, there were 4 main authors as well. And so we partnered with the company A Kid's Book About, and we got to publish 3 books, and I'm just so proud of these people. So we have A Kid's Book About Being Transgender. I hope that's not backwards.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, great. A Kid's Book About Being Transgender by my really good friend Gia. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of you, Gia. You're amazing. And then A Kid's Book About Being Non-Binary by Hunter. And then A Kid's Book About Being Inclusive by Ashton and Rebecca. I am so excited about these books because it's, I'm so excited about thinking about the impact that these book series will have. The books that Ashton and Rebecca wrote, it makes being an ally to us so easy and accessible. Hunter's and Gia's book, it demystifies what it means to be non-binary and transgender. And with these books, we can reach so many more people, and so many more people can see themselves in these books. And I'm just so proud of my friends who got to write these. They did an amazing job of getting to, again, share their story, because it's a beautiful story and it deserves to be told.
I definitely agree with you about that representation facets is so important. Are these books just for kids, or do you recommend them to adults and just like everybody in general?
It says, okay, right on the first page, it says better together. And it also says, this book is best read together, grown up and kid. So
okay, yes, perfect.
Everyone should read these. Everyone deserves to read these because they're so good. And yeah, no, it's not, it says it's a kid's book, but it's not a kid's book. It's a book for all people. And yeah, I'm really excited about these books.
Awesome. Another question comes in. What else would you like to see done for transgender individuals and just people of the LGBTQ plus community?
Seeing the Equality Act would be amazing. That's what I really want to see right now. I want to see the Equality Act passed, because by passing the Equality Act, like I said in the slideshow, I'd be protected everywhere that I go. I know that a lot of us are starting to look at colleges to go to when we graduate. And if you want to go to a college that's out of state that also doesn't have protections, that means you're not protected as a transgender individual or even as a queer individual. And so or even as an LGBTQ individual. So transgender, non-binary people, you know, we just wouldn't be as protected. And so seeing the Equality Act passed is really what I want to see next. That's what I really hope for and what I'm really striving for.
There's some interest in the chat. If you could hold up the books one more time. And also if you could tell us where some of us could buy those books, because a lot of students seem to be really interested in buying the set.
GenderCool.org.
GenderCool.org. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'm so excited about these books. They're right here.
Awesome. So if everyone, after Stella's done speaking, after today's session, hop on GenderCool.org, copy yourself 3 books, and you'll be set basically. But that was just absolutely perfect. I guess I don't think that we have any other questions in the chat. But Stella, it's just been such an awesome opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. We know that you're super, super busy, and it's just been such a pleasure to have you here. But thank you so much. There's just a lot of questions, not enough time, but thank you again so much for joining us in today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be here.
Thank you.